Master Dungeons are one of the harder activities of Destiny 2, typically requiring a full fire team of experienced and high-level players. Even then, playing aggressively is not a viable option. But with this build, survivability, ad clear, and dealing high damage in any level of content will seem easier than ever. Check this out. This build starts off with a new exotic sword from the Final Shape campaign, Ergo Sum. Almost all the separate rolls you can get of this exotic are great, but for this build specifically, the perfect 5th caster frame combination is required. Here's what that looks like. The next part of this build is another new exotic from the Final Shape campaign, called the Speaker Sight. This exotic helmet has a perk called the Lost Voice. Healing grenades spawn a restorative turret. Healing allies occasionally spawns an orb of power. For dealing the most efficient amount of damage, I recommend using an aggressive frame rocket launcher with enhanced reconstruction. You'll see why in a minute. For our abilities, we will be running the Super Song of Flame. This will give us plenty of damage resistance, constant radiance for that little bit of extra weapon damage, as well as infinite grenades and melees. Phoenix Dive for the class ability for a little burst of healing whenever you need it. The jump you'll be using is your choice, whatever you feel comfortable with. I like to use Incinerator Snap for the melee, but it's really up to you. Healing grenades are required for this build. It's a core part of the survivability, and it's the only reason we're using the exotic. For aspects, I find Touch of Flame to be the most effective because it doubles the regeneration given to you by your healing grenades. The aspect Heat Rises is less of a requirement, but I find it very necessary. This is because there is currently a bug where you can absorb your healing grenade and it still creates a turret. This is also possible in the new Super Song of Flame, which makes us practically invincible, getting consistent healing and damage resistance. For fragments, we are using Ember of Mercy, Solace, and Empyrean for increased restoration, as well as Ember of Ashes so our sword causes ignitions. For the artifact perks, I am using Solar Fulmination, Radiant Orbs, and Blade Stamina. These are all going to give us some additional uptime and effectiveness on our sword and healing grenades, as well as Overload Sword, which is going to give us some additional champion stunning capabilities. Armor mods are on the screen now. Finally, let's check out some damage rotations. It all starts when you swing your sword. This will launch a solar projectile towards your enemy, inflicting them with enough scorch to cause an ignition, as well as dealing consistent damage. After this, switch over to your reconstruction rocket launcher, fire 2 shots, and switch back to your sword. By this time, your sword will have regenerated enough energy to fire another caster frame projectile. Mix in a few healing grenades when you need them, and you're set. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.